Hey guys, it's Chris. From monsters to ghosts and ancient creatures, join me as I reveal 9 of the scariest sightings in the desert. Number 9. Mirages. At first, a mirage may not seem like a scary thing to see in a desert. But in fact, it can be one of the most terrifying things because of what it means to the person who's seeing it. The dictionary defines a mirage as an optical illusion caused by atmospheric conditions, especially the appearance of a sheet of water in a desert or on a hot road, caused by the refraction of light in the sky by heated air. If you have your wits about you when you travel through the desert, a mirage won't faze you. But for those who are desperate, who aren't well hydrated, or are in a frantic state, seeing a mirage of any kind is something that sometimes is hard to ignore or pass off as fake. What's more, if in that state you exert yourself to go find that mirage, burn through your body's energy reserves, and thus push yourself even closer to death. So as in all things, mirages are more than just simple illusions. It can be your clue to your situation. So for those wandering in the desert, seeing a mirage is literally the last thing you ever want to experience. Number 8. MEGALANIA. In the outback of Australia during the Ice Age, there was an apex predator so feared that it became a part of the legends of the land. And this creature was the MEGALANIA. The MEGALANIA was a monitor lizard, one that was bigger than a crocodile. 23 feet long based on fossil findings. What's more, it was said to have a full mouth of teeth that were not only sharp, but were also extremely venomous. And venom isn't something that a lot of lizards have. So to have a 23-foot-long monitor lizard with venom is not a hugely pretty picture, especially if you're its prey. The MEGALANIA would roam through the outback of Australia and would hunt just about anything out there, and this included the earliest settlers of the land, the Aborigines, who were so afraid of the MEGALANIA that they wove it into their folklore and told tales of it for generations to come. But the MEGALANIA isn't just something that scared people in the past. There are those who believe that the MEGALANIA still exists in the Australian outback to this day, despite fossil records stating that it died some time ago. Basis for this involves unusual deaths of animals in the outback, and occasional tracks have been found out there. Number 7. SKINWALKERS. There are many legends in Native American culture, but one of the most frightening in the Navajo tribe is that of the SKINWALKERS. What's more, they're so frightened of this legend that they refuse to discuss it with people whom they don't trust, which usually means outsiders. As a result, our knowledge of them is somewhat short. However, what we do know paints a dark picture. First and foremost, skinwalkers are a type of witch, one that can shapeshift into various kinds of animals like dogs, coyotes, foxes, and more. In fact, in the Navajo tongue, the word for skinwalkers translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours, a reference to the four-legged animals the witches transform into. What they do with their powers is a bit up for debate based on the lack of knowledge. However, most Navajo tales paint them as an adversary to the people, oftentimes coming after the tribe and either being scared away by them or being killed in a conflict. Despite the lack of information on the creatures, those who have heard the story have spread them around, and skinwalkers have even appeared on shows such as Supernatural, a bit in different forms compared to the legends. And now for number 6. But first, be sure to subscribe to World List and be sure to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our latest videos. Number 6. The Lady in White. Once upon a time in the 1850s, there was a woman who'd been taken to Vallecito Station in Anza Borrego Desert State Park. The reason for her trip was simple. She had been scheduled to marry a man who had reached the gold fields of California. Now flush with cash, he asked his bride-to-be to join him in his new home. And so she made a journey that took her to this station, which was supposed to take her to Sacramento. She never made it that far though, for along her journey she got ill. Very ill, in fact. So much so that while she waited for the next stage to come on her journey, she died at the station. After her death, the people in charge looked through her belongings and found a beautiful white wedding dress. Sad for the loss, they put her in the dress, buried her in an unmarked grave about 300 feet from the station. Usually, this would be the end of the story. However, many people over the years claim to have seen a lady in white, and it's believed to be this bride. She never harms anyone, but rather, just like she did before she died, she paces in front of the station and waits for her stage to come and take her to her husband. Number 5. Olgehorhoi. One of the biggest fears of deserts is that somehow, some way, there are creatures laying just under the sand, waiting to strike at you as you move, which was the inspiration behind the film Dunes and many other sci-fi tales. But in terms of creatures that are believed to be alive, the Olgehorhoi said to roam the Gobi Desert is among the top of the list. This creature is also known as the Mongolian death worm and lives up to its name via its characteristics, which include it being between 2 and 5 feet long, having a very thick body, and being able to kill its victims through a spraying of venomous mist, or even using electricity to shock the victims. One of the great ironies of the Olgehorhoi is that while most of Mongolia believes it exists and are able to describe it in great detail, no one has ever officially seen it, or at the very least been able to provide a body to show to others to show it does indeed exist. There have been expeditions to try and find the Olgehorhoi, but with no luck in finding the creature. Number 4. The skeleton with a lantern. There have been many stories about things being seen in the desert at night or in the day, but for S.E. Schlosser, she saw something in the Arizona desert that made her skin crawl. A skeleton that was carrying a lantern. Specifically, a lantern suspended within the chest cavity of a huge skeleton. From the aimless, stumbling way it was walking, the light from the lantern wasn't doing the skeleton much good. She at first thought it was a prank via her husband, Eddie, who was with her on the trip, but she soon found out this wasn't the case. To prove it, I took aim at the ghastly creature and fired off a couple of shots. The shots didn't faze the skeleton at all. In fact, my shots didn't even make the lantern flicker. That scared me. I knew that this was no trick. It was some kind of terrible phantom stalking the desert at night. The phantom has been seen by more than one person, though the range of the height does usually differ, some even going on to say it was 18 feet tall at times. Number 3. The YUCCA Man. There are many legends of Bigfoot-like creatures in the world, and one of them happens to come from a desert area between Colorado and California known as Joshua Tree National Park. The park is home to many things, including a base for soldiers, in this case Marines, and it was a Marine who first got a sighting of the creature known as the YUCCA Man. According to the report of said Marine, the beast came out of nowhere and rushed him. He ordered the thing to stand down, but instead, the creature grabbed his gun, bent it, and then knocked him out with it. The Marine wasn't killed, but he was found the next day with his destroyed weapon. Later sightings were spotted by others in the area, and the YUCCA Man was born. The descriptions are all rather similar, including the beast being at least 12 feet tall and covered in tan hair, hence the Bigfoot relation. The creature has never been caught though, so one must wonder what the Marine and the others saw. Number 2. A ARICA monster. In the deserts of Chile, a believed ancient creature may be found in the form of the ARICA monster. This curious creature has been spotted in the desert since 1980 and has been described as over 6 feet tall and very much like a raptor in shape. Based on the description, many people believe that the creature is a remnant from the Dromaeosaurids family, which would mean that there are dinosaurs still living on the earth if the connection is true. The true oddity of this desert sighting is that it comes from a host of different people in different scenarios, and many reporting slightly different versions of the monster, including some saying that they were in groups, while others say they saw only one. Some were seen purely in the desert, while others crossed roads and even tried to attack a car. Some descriptions liken them more to birds than dinosaurs, and others have it looking more dog-faced. In 2004 alone, multiple sightings of the ARICA monster were had by various people, leaving people all the more curious as to what's going on in the deserts of Chile. Number 1. Killer bees. The term killer bees is often used as a deterrent to interact with bees as a whole, since they sting. But in fact, killer bees are a real species, one that is a mix of European honeybees and African honeybees, and they're one of the most dangerous bees in the world. What's more, they're found in places like the Arizona desert, and they absolutely do not like to be disturbed, ever. If you were to scale them to other bees, killer bees are easily one of the most aggressive bees on the planet today. They not only are aggressive, They almost seek a reason to sting people, which has resulted in one death and harming of others. For example, when a landscaper and his crew went to investigate a house, there was a hive of killer bees in the attic. But they didn't know about it until they disrupted the hive and had 800,000 bees come swarming at them and stinging them everywhere they could. Now, this may not have been a monster story like you were expecting, but sometimes the worst things you can see in a desert are the things you can understand and fear. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these scary sightings in the desert? Which one do you think is the most horrifying of the lot? Do you know any other stories that should have been put on our list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time on the channel.